Okay, so bees. This is our bee yard, and these are bees. These are established bees. There's a dead bee. Whoop. They've been overwintered out here, wrapped up, and left them a lot of honey on top. These are honey supers, and these are the brood chambers. This is where they grow new bees. So this is called a hive body. It's called a super. And this is a pretty strong hive. I was just in it, looking stuff around, and they're settling down from that. But if you bring it in here, bring it in tight to the landing, you can see some bees landing. And you can see a bee right here with his butt up in the air, her butt in the air, I'm sorry. These are all girls. All these ones with their butts up in the air are exuding a pheromone and then blowing that pheromone up into the air as sort of the landing beacon for all the bees that got displaced when I just took this hive apart a few minutes ago and checked it out. So this is home. And those are the bees key on location, odor, and color. And so we color code them. And you can see, if you got real good eyes, you can see some bees coming in with pollen on them. Can you get tight enough to see the pollen? Actually, there's a couple right there that's sitting there with pollen on them. So they go to the flowers and they stick pollen in their cargo pants pockets. This is what it looks like. They're on the back side, on the back outside of their rear legs. As they stick pollen, there's orange and yellow pollen coming in, and the yellow pollen probably got something to do with the dandelions that are starting. So anyway, these guys made it through the winter okay, which is amazing. Another hive over here that made it through the winter just fine, and we're gonna reward them for a nice day by taking the doorstop out so that they can have a big landing zone. We put these stoppers in the real tight winter. We put it this way so they only have a little tiny hole. Spring they get this much hole, and then summer they get all that. There's one with a lot of pollen on them right there. So again, 2 hive bodies, 2 supers. On that one, the bottom super, the one closest to the hive bodies, was empty, and they started out the winter full. So they ate that one super, but these 2 are still good, and the top 2 over there still have honey in them. Okay, so it's April 24th, and our friend the beekeeper up the road drove to California in a big truck and went to a bee apiary in Northern California where they grow bees. So these are called package bees. And package bees are tame, would be putting it mildly. There's about 3 pounds of bees in there, and a queen, and a sugar can, and no brood, no hive. So these bees think that they've swarmed, and swarm bees are really, really docile. So these guys are easy to get along with. And we're going to take these bees and start them in these 2 new hives that I got set up here. This is just one hive body, as you can see. It's got new wax in it, which has not been drawn out yet. So they'll have to draw it out and make comb out of it. That's all beeswax. And when they do, it'll look like I gave them a couple of full combs that I stole out of those other hives. That's what I did today. Is I gave them one of honey. So that's all honey. And one empty, a little honey in the corners. And this is where the queen will start laying. So both sides, we got some pollen in there. You can see some of those, they'll fix that. You can open this up 3 days later and that little divot right there will be gone. got honey and got pollen in it. And so that's how they put away their groceries. So it goes like this. We take the bees, we take the sugar bottle. First thing I do is squirt everything down with some sugar water, so that when I dump them out here, they get a happy landing and they get something to do, which is clean up sugar water. And then I'll squirt the bees with a little sugar water, same thing. This also helps to neutralize any weird smells and just sort of make everything smell like food. And so they like that. And then we take the can out. This is what they've been eating for the last, I don't know, 48 hours, however long it took them to drive the bees in from California. So you see little holes at the bottom, and we'll give that back to them in a minute. In the meantime, we'll ask them to get off of there so I can put it down without smushing them. Okay, and then we will take queen. Now the queen is right here in this little thing, which we'll see more of in a minute. So there's one queen and 3 pounds of bees. And everybody wants to always ask, how many bees are in a beehive? And the answer is 1. Because one hive is one organism. It's not 30,000 bees. Bees reproduce by swarming. That causes 2 organisms. So these are all like skin cells or parts of the body. And the queen, of course, is the centerpiece. There's only one organism in this hive that can reproduce, and that's the queen. All the worker bees, ladies, are sterile. So we'll get back to this in a minute. And we'll park her over here. She's got a whole, these are all worker bees that are attendees, and they're surrounding her. We'll see her in a minute. And what she does in addition to laying billions of eggs is exudes a pheromone that tells the queen, or tells the hive, everything's okay. I'm here, I'm happy, I've been getting good chow, I'm putting out good pheromones, I'm laying a lot of eggs, and so you guys can chill out, which is why, you know, nothing. Easy to get along with. So I'm gonna hook them over there. And now the moment of big drama is how we get these guys out of there. And for that, I'm gonna put on a hat, not because they get aggressive, but because they just might get caught up in my hair or something like that. And we don't want that. So Nancy's taking the pictures and she's fearless. She doesn't want to wear a hat today. And we just take them and ask them to leave. Out they come. Pile of bees. Okay, so I'll get most of them that way, and the rest will get up into the hive through the front door, ultimately, to get to the sugar and to the queen. So now the queen. So here's the queen. She's inside there. The bees really like her, so they're going to leave her alone. And she comes so you can make sure you got one. And she doesn't get away. There she is. So she's got a white dot on the back of her. That's paint. See it right there? There it is. So she's got a hole to get out right there, and she'll eat her way out. We put a marshmallow in right here, and they'll chew through that after we put her in the hive and get her out. So here we go. Come on, girls. There we go. There we go. Ship them inside here. And instant beehive. So I should put that in the middle because now I can't hardly move anything because there's just tons of bees here. And I'm going to cover them up so that they can start calling this home. You cut it off. Okay, so we put the bee top on. Try not to squash too many of them. And boom. Presto, instantaneo, one package bee installation. The rest of these folks out front here will crawl back up in there. And so now we're going to do the same thing over there, and that's what we do. In so doing, we've doubled our hive population, and maybe this year, with all the rain we've had, it'll be a great year. Peace.